Hello friends, in today's episode I actually want to go over 3 really awesome healing builds with you guys. Now before we get started, I do want to address a couple of things. One, my goal with these healing builds is honestly to use a lot of perks that are not popular and don't see a lot of love. We will be using some very popular and some good perks in these builds, but I've also mix it up with other perks that really don't get a lot of love, and I think you're really going to enjoy these 3 builds that I have for you. These builds are all about healing, all about playing altruistic, all about taking care of your team. So if that kind of playstyle vibes with you, I think you're really going to appreciate these builds and the different spins that they put on your matches, because a lot of these builds are thinking outside the box, and a lot of these builds do things that you wouldn't normally think of. But I can't really say much more without spoiling it, so let's hop into my top 3 healing builds to spice up your life in Dead by Daylight. Starting with build number 1. Alright guys, so build number 1 I'm calling the Desperate Medic. So the whole point of this build is actually to use your med kit to heal other players. So if you don't already know, medkits have 24 charges, and when you heal other people with them, you get maximum efficiency and maximum healing speed with your medkit. Now you get penalized 33% efficiency and decreased speed if you use a medkit on yourself. So they basically have always been wanting to incentivize medkits to be used to heal other players, because you don't get a penalty and you can heal them more. It takes 16 charges to heal another player. Medkits come with 24. So if you add on a gel dressing and a bandage or a Salvaterian wrap for that extra charges, 16 extra charges, that's 24 charges. So this is enough for 2 self heals or 3 team heals. So we're actually going to be using the Ranger medkit, which is the best medkit because it heals other people 50% quicker. If you don't have this one, don't stress out. The difference between this one and the camping aid kit is only 15%. So really, it's not the end of the world. If you have a purple med kit, use it, but you'd be fine using a camping aid kit with this. It's not going to make that big of a difference. Bring a gel dressing to add 16 charges. Bring the wrap or bring bandages. Doesn't matter. Both of them add 8 extra charges. This just gives you 5% extra healing speed. So my med kit will heal other people 55% quicker. And the whole point of this build is I want to use my med kit to heal other people, but I also want to feel rewarded for keeping my teammates healthy. So we're using desperate measures. For each injured, hooked, or dying survivor, we will increase our healing and unhooking speeds by 14%, and this also stacks with medkit usage on teammates or ourselves. So we have a perk that just flat up buffs our healing speed, which feels pretty good since we're basically always going to be healing. Let's use desperate measures. Botany has a little penalty to you if we use it because it decreases your medkit charges by 20%, but desperate measures works perfectly in this situation. We'll be using Empathy. Empathy is probably the best aura reading perk if your whole mission is just to find injured teammates and heal injured teammates. Whenever a teammate is injured, you will see their aura within a 128 meter range, which is basically the entirety of the map. So you can always find your injured teammates, so you can always heal them. You'll be packing a crap ton of heals because your medkit's enough to heal teammates 3 times, which is great. But also Empathy is good for other things. You can see where the teammate is in chase. You can see where the killer's at by proxy, because when you see a teammate show up and start glowing because Empathy is activated, you know that's where the chase is at. You know that's where the killer's at. So by proxy, you know you're safe. And if you need to go body block for them, you can. If you need to go heal them, you can. If they're running towards you, you can run away so you don't get in the way and get, killed by the killer second-handedly. Third perk in this build is Built to Last. And this is where it gets fun. Because once we deplete our medkit, whether we heal ourselves with it 2 times or heal our teammates 3 times, we can go into lock for 12 seconds to refill our charges. The first time we'll get 99% of the charges back, the second time will be 33% less, and then the last time will only be 33%. So basically, we get 3 team heals out of this medkit. If we refill it once, that's 3 more team heals. If we fill it again, it's 2 more heals, and for the last time, that's 1 more heal on a teammate. Or vice versa. We get to heal ourselves twice, then heal ourselves twice again. Then we'll get to heal ourselves 1 with a little bit of change left over, and the last time we won't be able to actually heal ourselves, but we'll be able to heal our teammate. So this basically guarantees it to where we have an infinite use of this medkit. And like I said, the theme of this build is using the medkit to heal teammates and to heal ourselves and benefiting from that medkit healing buff. Now the last perk to round this all out is going to be Solidarity, because like I said with the objectives in the beginning of this video, I want to show some perks that don't ever really get used and don't get a lot of love. And this is a pretty fun perk. Let's say you're injured, you have empathy, you see another injured teammate. You can go heal them. And what Solidarity does is it heals you at a 50% conversion rate. So if you fully heal another survivor, you will heal 50% of yourself just like that. And then you can use your own medkit to finish healing yourself off, or you can let your teammate heal yourself off. off of this. Another great perk to use here is Second Wind, Steve Harrington's perk. Whenever you fully heal another survivor after you get unhooked, you'll be broken for 20 seconds, then you'll fully heal. I usually use that one, but I haven't used Solidarity in ages. I'm really itching to give this one a little bit more love. And this is a very fluid healing build that makes healing other people feel productive. And also you get to heal yourself when you heal other people, which is actually just like a cool little nuance of this build, you know? Try it out for yourself. Trust me, it's a lot of fun. The Desperate Medic. All right, the second build we have on this tier list is, or builds list rather, is going to be the Botanist. This is a more well-rounded build, and let me explain why. This build is good for healing teammates, but it's also good for playing the game. It's also good for getting to the end game, and when you get to the end game, you will actually be supercharged, and I'll explain more on that here in a second. So the perks, Deja Vu. Love this perk, solid perk. Not necessarily a healing perk, but this is going to let us play the game well. It's also going to highlight the 3 gens that are closest together. We'll get a 6% repair speed when we do them, and if we focus on those gens, we'll prevent ourselves from being what's called a 3-gen situation in the end game. Basically, when the last 3 gens are close together, the killer can defend them easily. If you're always doing the Deja Vu gens, the last 3 gens will be spaced apart. This helps you play the game smoothly. This helps you not have to worry about looking for generators. You can just, especially on indoor maps, this just takes the guesswork out of doing the objective. Now, Botany, that's our healing perk in this build. Increases our healing speed by 50%, reduces our item efficiency by 20%. So we will always heal people 50% quicker, which is great. And we never lose this ability. We're just always healing people 50% quicker, which is great. And then it also stacks with our medkit. Now we will take that 20% penalty to item efficiency by combining it with the medkit, but that's okay because we're using just a regular camping aid kit. And because we put bandages on, we'll have enough medkit charges even after the Botany 20% deduction to fully heal ourselves one time pretty quickly with Botany, or we can heal a teammate pretty quickly. Either or, it doesn't really matter. But the true gem of this setup is that because we have bandages and Botany, we'll get one really quick heal with the medkit, either on ourselves or a teammate, but we'll have some charges left over to use a anti-hemorrhagic syringe. When we use this, the item will get consumed, but after 16 seconds, we or a teammate will heal a full health state. Now, the cool thing about this syringe is that it actually does stack with Botany, so Botany shaves off quite a bit of time on the medkit. Instead of 16 seconds, I think it's like 10.8 seconds to get fully healed with the syringe if you use it on a teammate. And that's just like another cute little side effect. And I know you guys got some syringes piled up that you haven't been using. Use it with this build. It's a very good setup because we get 2 heals on ourselves or teammates with the medkit, plus that flat out 50% bonus to healing speed on other people. Now, Balanced Landing. Third perk, you can honestly use whatever you want to use here. I have really been enjoying Balanced Landing lately, and I haven't used it in months, but I started using it again last week, and I've been having a lot of fun with it. Whenever you fall from great heights, you will mitigate your stagger duration. If you don't know, whenever you fall, you have that period of time where you're just stuck for a little bit, and you make a grunt of pain, and then you can finally start moving. This basically eliminates that and lets you run into a straight sprint burst, so this is really great for chase, especially when you're to do things in chase killers wouldn't normally expect you to do. You can use whatever perk you want to use here. I'm choosing Balanced Landing just because I've been enjoying it lately. And like I said, the theme of this video is to give some perks some love that haven't been used lately. But where this build comes online is in the end game. And the reason why I like perks like the medkit, well, the reason why I like bringing the medkit with this, an exhaustion perk and Deja Vu, is because it gives us a pretty good chance to get to the end game. And in the end game, No One Left Behind will activate. This does 4 different things. 1, we'll get 100% extra blood points for healing and unhooking other survivors, which is always good. 2, 50% extra action speed when healing or unhooking survivors. So we'll unhook people quickly, but we'll also heal them 50% more quicker. And this stacks with Botany. So we'll be healing people 100% quicker in the end game, which is basically base kit will make it, which means we're healing everybody basically 8 seconds. This is great for end game resets. Also, when you unhook a survivor, they'll get another 7% movement bonus for 10 seconds, helping to mitigate the odds of that player getting tunneled in the end game. And also, you'll see the aura of everybody in the trial at the end game. Doesn't matter, no range, no limit. You just see where all your teammates are at. So you can go see who you need a body block for. You can go see who you need to heal. You can reset people so quick. This perk just feels so good when it activates, and it works so well with Botany. Very fun combination to try, and not a lot of people use No One Left Behind, even though to me it is a really, really, really good perk. And then the last build on our list, guys, is going to be another cheeky little healing build. So we have We'll Make It. This is going to be our main healing perk. When we unhook a survivor, we'll get 100% extra healing speed for 90 seconds. which means we can heal people in 8 seconds instead of 16 seconds. And this lasts 90 seconds, which means we will have a lot of time to get value out of this perk if we need to heal someone else later. Second perk we're running with this is actually We're Gonna Live Forever. The main reason we're using this is because it increases our healing speed on slugged survivors, which doesn't happen nearly as often, but when it happens, it's really good. So if the killer by any chance leaves a teammate slugged, we'll get more into that here in a second, you can pick them up in 8 seconds instead of 16 seconds. This works really well for that reason. Now there's a secondary function of this perk where if you get a rescue, take a protection hit, or rescue a survivor by stunning the killer or blinding the killer, whatever it means, whenever you pick up that survivor, they will actually get endurance for 10 seconds as well after you pick them up. So this means whoever you pick up will get the possibility of having endurance if you fulfill those requirements. Now we're combining this with this next perk, Buckle Up, which just got changed, but this is a really fun combination. So We're Gonna Live Forever. Pick up people really quickly, and there's a possibility of giving them endurance so they can take a hit, but also Buckle Up will increase their movement speed by 150% for 5 seconds when they get up, and they won't leave any scratch marks. So whoever you pick up off the ground is basically not getting tunneled and is definitely going to be able to get out of there. Even if the killer does manage to get a hit, they'll have endurance, but they'll get that huge crazy speed boost, as well as not leaving any scratch marks. They are going to be very, very hard to catch. Now here's the issue though. The killer's probably going to leave the survivor slugged. Like, what are the odds of that? Sometimes killers do it, sometimes they don't. There's really no guarantee here. Like I said, these are fun perks when they work, but they don't always work. But we're going to try and make that happen as much as possible. So we're actually bringing a toolbox with us with some scraps and the protective gloves to prevent the killers from being notified whenever we sabotage a hook. So if the killer does pick up your teammate, plan B is to try and get the sabotage save. So the killer has to drop that survivor and then try and double back to pick them up later. Like I said, that's just a contingency plan, not always guaranteed to work, but it's better than nothing. Other things you could do are try to bring a flashlight to discourage the killer from picking up the survivor, or if you have another teammate who has a flashlight, who can make the killer go chase them a little bit, then try to pick them up off the ground. If you're all playing in a Swift, it's a lot easier to coordinate this, but the last perk on the list is Aftercare, which is a simple aura reading perk that I wanted to give a little bit of love to that not a lot of people use, but it's a decent perk. It's not as good as some of the other perks, Bond, Empathy, Kindred, but it's still a solid perk. Whenever you rescue a survivor from the hook, or you get rescued from the hook, or you heal someone else, or someone else finishes healing you, you basically just see their aura forever until the next time you get hooked. And then the perk will reset. But this can recur for up to 3 survivors, so you could potentially get the capabilities for permanent aura reading on all your teammates, which just helps you find them easier and navigate the game easier. Not much else to say there, except it's a perk that doesn't get a lot of love, but it's still a pretty solid perk. Anyways, guys, if you enjoyed this episode, please smash that like button. Let me know which build was your favorite, and if you want to see more healing builds, or actually comment down below. Let me know what kind of top builds to your list you'd want to see next. Gen rushing, healing, balance build, S tier consistent builds, meme builds. It doesn't matter. I'm curious to see what you guys come up with. And until next time, have an amazing day. Do not forget to smile. I will see you on the next one. Bye.